I used to do drugs. I got molested. I was in a gang. I've been in shootouts. I've been in kidnappings.
Welcome to Pyramid Pranks. I'm Alex.
My name's 50. They call me 50. I'm the owner of Tats by 50.
Tats by 50. So you do tattoos?
Yes, sir.
What kind of tattoos are you doing?
I do all kinds of tattoos and piercings and paintings. I do everything.
So you do it basically in Houston. Is this where you started?
Yeah, and I started in Houston, Texas. Yes.
In Houston, Texas. So where are you from?
Originally from Houston.
From Houston.
But I grew up in A-Leaf.
You grew up in A-Leaf.
Yes,
and
sir.
How old are you?
I'm 34.
34 years old.
Yes,
okay. What about your parents? Where are your parents from?
My parents, my dad is from Mexico, a little part of the desert's called Zacatecas.
Zacatecas?
Yeah, he's from there, and my mother is from here.
From here?
From the United States, yeah. From Texas.
And I know you're here with us to tell this really important story that I feel like that will help out a lot of people.
Mm.
And it's your personal story. So what made you decide to come out and help people with your story?
Well, I think that I've been through so much in my life that I know that somebody out there is going through something, and it might be even worse than what I've been through. But I think that a lot of people hide in the dark of their problems. So if you have someone like me, I'm all tatted up. I used to do drugs. I got molested. I was in a gang. I've been in shootouts. I've been in kidnappings. All kinds of stuff that I've been through in my life, that I think that if I say something and a younger person hears it, then maybe they will think twice about what they're doing. Or, it'll open up someone's eyes and say, you know what, I'm not afraid to tell someone that I'm being molested or something, I think a lot of people need to come up and need to step up. Everybody kind of just does their own thing and only worries about themselves. When I was a kid, I used to draw a lot. I used to copy out of the Florida art magazines. And I looked up to my brother a lot. I followed him around. I kind of got in a very, very bad situation with him. I was molested. It messed me up pretty bad in the sense that I didn't know what was going on. I didn't understand it.
So when you're saying you started, following your brother, did you start at an earlier age, or what age did you start following, looking up to him?
I think that it started from the time that my dad left. I mean, when I started to really realize it, I probably was like 8 years old. But I think that me growing up and me being at where I am now, I see that I was always trying to find that dad in somebody. And I guess the closest person that I had was him. So anything he was doing, I was interested in doing. You know what I'm saying? Drawing, lifting weights, anything. So,
where you knew that you went wrong by following him, like which level was it? Like what part of your life you realized that?
I think when everything started happening to me behind closed doors,
Oh, is it?
That's when I started figuring out that maybe this is not right. You got to ask yourself, like, what goes through a kid's head, what goes through their mind, at that age, and then you got to look at the bigger picture. How does it affect them when they get older? You know what I'm saying? There's things that people hold inside and don't let it out, and it actually, from my experience, I feel like it tears people up. You have to find someone to talk to, and get it out. That way you can move past it.
I see that you're really strong, because a lot of people, they don't talk about stuff that actually happens to them.
Mm-hmm.
By you explaining your story, telling your story, it will help a lot of people that are probably going through the same stuff, or they don't know that they're going through the same stuff.
Yeah.
What message you have for people that are 8 years old or 10 years old that you think they will fall through the same path? What can they do to avoid it?
Well, I think this is just that you got to open up. You have to say something. You can't be scared to say something, and that was a big thing. I was really scared. I didn't know what to do. You know, for a very long time, I never knew that I never thought I should say something. Still, till I finally let it out last
It's
year.
hard in
This year.
society. In this society, if you say something,
Yeah.
it'll, instead of you reaching out for help,
Yeah.
people look down on you.
Yeah, exactly. And I was afraid of that too. I was afraid of what people would think of me. I was afraid. I was even afraid what would happen to my brother. You know, I didn't. I was young. I didn't know. You know, I didn't fully understand what was going
Because
on.
if you give a scenario, like if someone approached you a certain way, or if you feel uncomfortable with someone, what should you do, or how should you knock on the right door from the beginning?
Oh, okay. So on that situation, I would just say it could be someone at school, because more than likely, from what I find, if you tell someone in your family, people tend to, I guess what I'm trying to say is walk blinded. They try to shelter or care for the family. You know what I'm saying? To where if I would have told a principal or a teacher, they would jump to make action. You know what I'm saying? Telling my mom now, it's like, okay, you know, it's like she just blows it off.
Do you
know what
think
I'm saying?
they're hurt at the same time? They just don't want to face reality?
I think they don't want to face reality. I think they don't want that. You know, they don't want to wake up and smell the coffee. That's what it was. And you know, if anyone is in that situation, I would tell them to tell a teacher 100%. I mean, I feel like in my experience, my schooling, a lot of teachers were really trying to help me. They were involved. So so I would feel comfortable telling the teacher.
And what made you
Definitely.
to be this strong? Because people go through everything. This requires mental strong too. You can lose all your friends.
Yeah.
You can lose family members.
Mm-hmm.
You can lose people's respect.
Exactly.
Because people hold it in. No one is able to come out as the guy like, hey, I want to tell my story.
Yeah.
What made you have like this courage like, hey, I want to help people? What made you realize that?
I have someone that cares about me a lot, so that they actually were the ones that pushed me to go get help. I had a lot of stuff being held in, and I needed to see a specialist or someone I could talk to about it. So I went to go get help. My wife's the one that told me to go look for a therapist. Yeah, a therapist. You know, meeting with this therapist, it really opened me up. There's a lot of people that you just can't open up to, and you just can't trust. You know, that's a hard thing. I mean, like me, I got lucky. I found my wife. So with her, I opened up a lot. You know, I think that I grew up with this person, and she helped me through a lot. Like I said, I held a lot in. And you know, she said, you know what? Maybe you need to go get help. You need to go get something, because things are not working out. Because it turned me to drugs. It turned me to not really caring about anything. I mean, I see that now. You know, I put my kids and my family through a lot. I put them through a lot, and I can only get better. You know, I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to become a better person. For my kids, myself, and my wife, you know.
See, what things have you done that have changed your mindset, get your mind off everything that happened in the past?
Well, a lot of it, like I said, a lot of it was my wife helping me out. She's a very positive person, so for me to be real negative was not in her vocabulary. It's like, no, we're not doing this. You know, it's gonna be this way, and this is how it's supposed to be. And I didn't get that until recently on my birthday. What happened to me when I had that situation? I had a situation where I was using drugs and I overdid it, and I ended up going into a coma. So, you know, when I came back, I realized what I had, and how much that I'm just letting it just go. You know, I have so much to live for, but I'm just letting it like if I don't care about it. You know, I got my kids, I got my wife, I got my health. You know, I got this talent, I have so much to live for, and I'm just letting it rot, you know. So it woke me up. That going through something that bad actually brought me into thinking, okay, I need to wake up. I need to rethink and refocus and regroup myself and see what I'm doing wrong and fix it.
So you think that that was a way of God to help you wake you up? Like there's a
I
message.
believe it. I definitely believe that. You know, right after I moved out my house, I joined a gang at a really young age. I joined a gang called. It's a South Central gang from LA that they brought down here to Houston,
Okay.
and you know, meeting them was a good and a bad thing, but the leader was like my dad. So there's another father figure in my life that I looked up to. It's kind of like a pattern. You know, as I get older, I meet new people. I find someone, and it's like I'm attached to him. That's like my dad. You know, I'm looking for a father figure because my dad was never there for me. My dad was never there for me. You know, you think you're getting help. You think people are your friends. You know, you trust these people 100%, but really you're just being blind to what's going on. Because I was being used big time in the game. Like, you know, I was being used bad. You know, at the beginning I made money, and then it got to where I wasn't making any money at all, but I was getting fed and clothed, and I had a place to stay.
As far as what ended you on the wrong route, what kind of people do you think people should avoid as a certain age?
Well, see, the thing that I notice now, and from when I grew up, a lot of people tend to follow these. A lot of people follow what they see and what they think is cool. So they'll follow a rapper, or they'll want to be like a rapper, or you know what I'm saying. It's mostly someone that's famous, and they want to be like them. They want to smoke weed. They want to sell drugs. They want to tote guns everywhere. You know, they want to do that because they see it on TV every day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They want to be the cool person. So that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna run straight to that. You know, and that's kind of what I did. You know, I went through a really bad relationship. I went through a couple of bad relationships, but at the same time as I was going through that relationship, I was meeting the gang. So it kind of helped me get through it because like I said, he was a father figure to me. Um, he helped me get through that little part because I did try to kill myself.
So for people that join the gang, how is it?
Well, if I'm trying to tell someone to stay away from the gang, I mean, I already know how hard it is. I mean, people do what they want to do, especially if you're a teenager. You're very, you get sucked into that system really easy. But I mean, if I were to tell someone, you know, from my point of view, things are not what it seems. You know, you're constantly having to watch your back. You're constantly scared because you don't know what's going to happen, who's going to kick the door in. You know, you think it's cool, but you think that someone has your back. You go into this little thing that you're about to do, and then you find out that you're actually by yourself in it. And you know, say you guys go in to rob a corner store, and one of you guys gets locked up. Well, the other guy that's free is not gonna send you money or try to help you get a lawyer. He's gonna let you go out by yourself and do your own time. You're by yourself. It's not a friend. A friend would have been like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna help you out. I'm gonna send you money, or I'm gonna get you out of jail, or I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. Or make sure your mom is okay, or make sure you know what I'm saying. And that type of situation, kids don't realize. They see the glamour, they see the money, they see them getting girls, but they don't see what actually goes into the stuff. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to do stuff that you don't want to do. You know, it's not gonna sit right in your mind. You have to understand, can you actually sit there and hurt somebody and be okay with it? You know, can you actually sit there and tie someone up and beat them in the head with a bottle, or hit them in the head with a bat, or pistol whip them, and live your life and be cool, thinking that you can go every day without somebody retaliating on you? When I joined the gang, it was just pretty much like, okay, listen, man, you want to come, you want to hang with us. This is what we do. If you want to do it, then stay. If you don't, there's a door. So I stayed. But the type of friends that I thought were friends were, it's like, I basically had to do stuff to be their friend. If I wasn't doing these jobs or, doing whatever, then I wouldn't have been close to them like that.
So they're not friends because they
They're
want
not
you to do
friends.
something from the beginning.
Exactly.
And if you join a gang, you have to do so many things for people in order so they can welcome you in the family. But
Yes.
actually, it's not a family. They're using you the whole
They're
time.
using you the whole time. From day one, right when you walk in, you automatically have to do something, and it starts from there. You have to do something to be in the gang and show them that you're down or whatever, and then it just goes from there, man. And it gets worse. It gets bigger and bigger, and it's like you just find yourself in this really deep hole, and by yourself. You don't have nobody.
So imagine your story. Everything happened the way it happened.
Yeah.
So let's go. If we go step by step, from step 1 to step 10, what are some steps you'll tell yourself? Let's say if you meet your old self, and the old self is about to follow his older brother, what would you like to tell him if you start from there? The first thing that you'll tell him.
If I was me back then.
So imagine you see yourself back in time, and you're like,
Yeah.
hey, don't follow my brother, or what would you?
Well, I would have. There would be things I would have done way different. You know what I'm saying? I got my talent, by looking at what he was doing. He was drawing. So I would have took the good things and then just.
So avoid the bad things.
I would have avoided the bad things.
So there's
definitely.
always bad people, but avoid their bad part. Just
Definitely.
do the good stuff.
And it's hard to say that to someone because when you're that young, you're vulnerable. You don't know what's going on, and you're expecting someone that you're looking up to guide you in that direction. You know what I'm saying? But that's what your parents are there for. Your dad or your mother should have been smart enough to try to stick together through whatever they were going through, just to make sure that you guys were safe.
And so tell me about the tattoo job. How is it? How's the pay for people that maybe wants to join tattoo or wants to take this as their creativity? What do you think?
The pay is good. I mean, I think in any situation, whatever talent you have, as long as you go and push it, like fight for what you believe in, fight for what God gave you. He's giving you this talent, and a lot of people don't realize that it's not easy. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. Everybody would be rapping. Everybody would be doing tattoos. Everybody would be actresses. It's not easy. You have to work at it, man. You have to push 100% of your time, your soul, your body, your mind, all that. You have to push it. That's the only way it'll work. With me, I had this talent. I wasn't even going to be a tattoo artist, actually. I kind of went on this on accident. The way I got into the tattooing was, this was before the gang, but I used to know a guy from high school that I played football with, and I would go to the tattoo shop after football practice with them, and his aunt and his uncle opened up the tattoo shop as a setup, so that you didn't know where their money was really coming from.
Okay.
They bought. She walked in and she was like, "Man, we really need artists." They had no artists. They had one artist, but he wasn't reliable. So they were getting a lot of people. And I remember seeing customers come in, and nobody could do nothing because they didn't have nobody to work. And she's like, "Man, you look like you can tattoo. You're drawing him, and it looks just like him. If I buy you some equipment, want to do a tattoo?" And I said, "Yeah, man, fuck it," because I was gonna actually go to college. And I really didn't like school. I never liked to be there because I have ADD really bad. So I never liked to be there, But I did have teachers helping me and stuff. But I went to this college to go get enrolled in it, and I turned it down. And probably like a couple weeks after that is when I got the equipment, and she bought it for me, and I did the first tattoo. And she was like, "Man," they talked me through it. They set me up and all that, and I did it, and it came out like if I was tattooing already for a year or two. I started working there. I worked there for 3 months for free. I wasn't charging people. They were letting people know, "Hey, you want a free tattoo? It's with this guy. He's learning how to tat, but he's good. And after the 3 months, man, people started coming in looking for me. They were like, "Where's 50 at? I want to get a tat. I want to get this," and I started building up my clientele like that. So I learned everything about the shop. I learned how to clean, and I learned how to do piercings, everything about the shop. And that actually helped me start to talk to people more. Because you have to you have to talk to people to get them to come to you. Sometimes, customers will walk in and you have to talk to them. So that helped me open up, but she did tell me when I got that job, the first thing she told me was, do not leave with my husband. Whatever you do, don't leave with him. He's gonna make it sound like everything's cool, don't go. And I remember they couldn't find me for like a whole month. And they finally found where I was at. I was in Port Lavaca with her husband doing. I used to crash cars for money, and that was engaging in organized crime that I was charged with.
How long did you do for this?
Okay, on that situation, there's a big story behind this because I actually stopped. I actually asked if I can leave the gang. You can't just stop, gang like that. A lot of people were pretty pissed off about it. But I stopped because we got arrested for aggravated kidnapping, and my wife was with me. We were already dating for a while already, and actually a couple months, and we ended up tying somebody up that owed us money, and she escaped. The next morning she was gone. So we left, and we're coming back to the house, and like 20 cop cars.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot of cops, man.
That was a lot, man. You can hear my wife in the background laughing. They're asking her questions and asking me questions, and I'm like, fuck, I don't know what to say.
That's crazy.
Took us to jail. They asked me more questions when I got down there, and whenever I got locked up, I was taught never to say nothing. Just automatically ask for a lawyer. So I lawyered up, and they sent me off. But after a year, when we got out of jail for that, I stayed in jail for almost a month and a half. She was about the same. She found out she was pregnant in jail. So a year, when I got out of jail, I asked him, I said, hey, I want to stop doing this. Is there any way I can get out? And he was like, you just can't leave like that. He said, why don't we do this? He's a businessman. Like I said, they're not your friend. The people that you think are your crew, they're not. So he told me, he said, this is what we'll do. You can't just leave. He said, you can work for me at the shop, and that way you can still make me money, and we'll be good. Nobody will fuck with you. It was wrong. So many people were pissed off about it that they kept fucking with me. They would pass by my booth and be like, this nigga sellout, nigga, this is, saying little remarks to me, and I'm like, man, what the fuck? I'm working.
Yeah. So they were just mad at it.
They were pissed off, but he handled it. He handled up on it. He actually locked the door one day and ended up fucking one of them up. He beat him up with a stool that day. He beat the shit out of him. I felt bad, but at the same time, it's like, that's what you get. You know what I'm saying?
So
but
that's what happened after that, where they're still like
nobody messed with me no more after that.
So they knew exactly, okay.
They knew exactly not to. Yeah, I mean, like I said, he was like my dad to me. I looked up to him a lot. He did take care of me. He taught me a lot streetwise, but it was like half good and half bad. It's like on one hand I'm doing things that I'm not supposed to be doing. I'm making money the wrong way, and I'm doing drugs, and I'm selling drugs. So, and then the other hand, he's teaching me how to respect people. Never lie to nobody. Never lie to your homie or whatever. Always keep it real. You know what I'm saying? The cop situation, never tell him nothing, just lawyer up, stuff like that, little shit like that. Love myself, because he helped me through that too. There was a time where I like I said, I was in a bad relationship, and I tried to kill myself, and I actually swallowed a bunch of pills and went through with it. I woke up in the hospital, they were pumping my stomach. But that was all around the same time that I became a tattoo artist, met him, and all that. So I was still going back and forth with the relationship. And mind you, all this whole time, all of them were having sex with my girlfriend. So it
So
was
basically,
like,
people that were friends,
yeah,
they were the one that actually going behind you, but they were the one
Going
that could
behind my
reach your
back.
family and
yeah, yeah. But you know, I tried to hurt myself numerous times, and he one day he got so pissed off that he actually tied me up and pistol whipped me. You know, and told me that I need
Do you think
to stop.
that it helped you for not like in a way, or did it make it worse?
I think it kind of woke me up, but it didn't help me fully. I didn't finally get help until I met the therapist and my wife, like, because I still dealt with a lot. You know, I still dealt with that bad relationship, and I put that bad relationship onto my next relationship and onto the next relationship, and it just kept building on that. You know, so it wasn't until I met her and she finally woke me up that it's not her that did this to me. It's the other one. I need to let it go.
So somehow you're carrying all the emotions that you had from the beginning.
From the
You're
beginning
adding it up,
onto the
piling
next-
it up, and
yeah.
you're just taking with you to wherever was your next destination.
Exactly. So
And
that's
as far as the gang, tell me this. I remember you said you started working at the shop, and after the guy got beat down, after that, like, you know, no one ever bothered you again. But were you still out, or are you were still in the gang?
No, I'm
partially?
out. I'm out completely because what happened was a year later, like I said, a year later, they ended up getting raided again, and they raided both of the houses that we sold drugs out of, and they raided his house, the big house in Katy, and his wife called me up like at 4:30 in the morning. It was so early. We had just came home from the hospital. We went to sleep that morning. I woke up with the phone call saying that 50, you need to leave the house now. They just kicked the door in and they're looking for you. They showed me a picture of your face. You need to go. And we just left the hospital with our newborn son Nate, my oldest son Nate.
Yes.
And I remember it felt so bad. It felt like shit. I can still remember the feeling that I had when you gotta wake up your wife and your baby, your newborn baby, and say, we need to go now. Pack your shit, we're leaving. And you don't know where to go. You don't know where, you're driving in the street and you just don't know where to turn. And I finally found a spot to hide out for a little bit, and next thing I know, my face is on the news. And it's like, people are looking for me, like,
Man,
and my face is everywhere, and I'm like, fuck, like
that sounds like TV from TV.
And so, and it sucks because you can't do nothing. You can't step outside. You can't do nothing. And so, I started kind of getting tired, and I would move to another spot. And as soon as I would move to another spot, the cops went to that spot. So they were on my trail. I think I went to 4 different houses, and it was 3 months in total that I was hiding out. And I said, man, I can't do this no more. We got to go home. And I'm gonna turn myself in tomorrow. And I went home that night, and they kicked the door in. Well, they didn't kick the door in. My brother was still involved and still living in my mother's house, and he kicked the door. They came in and got me. They came in and got me, and that's when I did about 6.5 months in the county.
That's
Yeah.
Man, that's good. You didn't do a lot of time for it.
Yeah, I didn't. You know, that was one thing that I did admire about the leader of the gang. He did get me out of a lot of things. I've been arrested for a lot of stuff, and all my record is pretty much clean, except I have that one felony. But like if I get pulled over right now, if I leave and they pull me over, a lot of cops start to throw my rap sheet at me. They'll be like, oh, what do you still be kidnapping people, or you still with this gang, you know? And they check me to see if I have weapons, because I used to have guns on me all the time, or drugs, or so they can see it on there. But I wasn't charged with anything because I got bonded out, and he got me a really good lawyer. You know, that was one thing that I admire about him. He did get me out of a lot of situations.
So the way you were able to get out of the after the shop, the things happened.
Yeah.
Things got raided twice. You said afterwards.
Yeah.
And after certain other incidents, everything was over. That said, they didn't come after you again to say, hey, you can't leave, or
No.
were they still in
No.
contact with you?
Well, I'm not gonna lie, man. They like I started reaching out recently because I mean they're like family to me. You know what I'm saying? So
Tell me about your drug use. How
The
did
drug
you
use?
start?
okay.
What happened, and like from the beginning till the end of drug use?
My drug use started when I was 9 years old. And I used to all my life I hung around older men. You know, like I said from the beginning, you know, it's always that that spot that you're trying to fill.
Yeah.
No, someone that doesn't have a father or doesn't have a mother, they want that. They want that love. They want that guidance. So, you know, I used to hang around these older guys, and I would smoke weed with them every now and then. You know, I started smoking weed at like 9. I remember them, you know, rolling it up, smoking in like abandoned apartments and stuff like that. It eventually went up to when I was 17, and I started using coke. I started using cocaine because I was selling it. That drug really hooked on me because it wasn't like an occasional thing. It was an everyday thing because the gang that I was in, it was just so, things were just, it had to be, it was like, you have to do this to get the job done. You know what I'm saying? You need to stay up all night and watch the spot. If you go to sleep, you're an outcast. That's not what you're not supposed to go to sleep. You're supposed to stay up, and then if you're hungry, do a bump. If you're thirsty, do a bump. You know, it's like, it's constant, man. It was constant. It was constant, and it kind of eased your mind. Cause like, you gotta understand, like, going to go do something that, like a car crash, is dangerous. You know, it's dangerous, and you kind of want to get relaxed before you do it. But it was like forced on me. It was like, okay, do this. Here, you're gonna need this. Do it. And you know, it's kind of thrown in my face. So, you know, over the years, I got hooked on it, man. You know, I've sold all kinds of drugs. I sold ice. And I tried ice before, but I never got hooked on it. I did it just to try the product that we were selling. I didn't really like it ever. So I never got hooked on that, but it was always coke. And, you know, I had a really bad experience recently. So, you know, I just overdo it, man. I overdo it, and I did it for like 3 days straight. And I ended up getting a bad batch from someone. And I remember fighting with my wife that morning because she was trying to tell me to get off of it. She was like, you need to stop. You need to stop doing this. She had no idea I was doing it. I was hiding it from her. And so I took off from the house, and I started running. And mind you, this is in the summer. July 12th was my birthday. This is the day that it happened. I started running. I don't know what I thought was going on, but I thought the cops were chasing me. I jumped like 4 or 5 fences, started taking off again. I jumped another 4 or 5 fences, started taking back off the other way. And mind you, I've been on coke for the past 3 days, and plus I got a bad batch. So with those things built up, I started to feel my chest and my throat cave in. And I remember falling to my knees and throwing up. I was throwing up. But I couldn't catch my breath. And I felt like someone was actually pushing their thumbs in my throat. And I started getting really lightheaded, dizzy. And it wasn't until I fell to the ground and I started yelling for help that I couldn't breathe. I remember clenching the ground and just grabbing it, just grabbing the dirt so hard, because when you want to breathe and you can't, it's like you get in panic mode. You're in shock, you know. And then I just remember just wanting to breathe so bad. I was in a lot of pain. That day, and I still was hallucinating. I thought cops were talking to me. And I was telling them, please just come get me. You know, why are y'all just standing there? Please come get me. You know, and I thought a cop was actually there, and there was nobody there. I eventually crawled my way to a faucet on the side of the house, and I remember turning it on, and I remember the water hitting me in the face, and I was trying to drink it, and that was the last thing I remember. That's the last thing I blacked out after that. I woke up 3 days after because I was in a coma, and I found out that my kidneys, liver, and lungs were all failing, and they told my wife that I probably wasn't gonna make it, or if I did, that I'd be a vegetable if I came back, because my temperature was pretty high. They said I was, I don't know, 105. I was missing for about 30 hours.
Wow, that was a long time, man.
Yeah, but I remember waking up and being in so much pain, but not even being able to move. My muscles, I guess, were getting eaten already, because they say the rigor mortis kicks in when you're about to pass away or something. So I was really stiff and swollen. I had ant bites all over my face and my arm because I was in a fire. They said when they found me, I was laying in a fire ant pile. So I had fire ants in my mouth, in my lip, in my ear, everything. Everything was bit up. So, you know, that drug use, man, it tears a lot of things apart.
Was that the part that where you stopped, or did you continue afterwards?
No, that's the part where I stopped.
You stop whatever you don't do. What do you do? Do you drink right now?
I drink right now. I drink every now and then, but the drug use is nothing to me. I've been offered it already, probably a couple times, and I just turn it down. I mean, it's not something that I look forward to doing anymore. It scares me. It actually scares me. You know, I don't want to end up in that situation ever again. And then I get flashbacks a lot of how I used to be. I can see myself
like becoming
what I used
same
to
person
do.
you think.
Yeah, that person was not a good person at all. You gotta understand, I put my family through a lot of stuff. I held back from us going places. I held back from just being a good person in general, being a good father to my kids and being a good husband to my wife. You know, like I said, drugs will tear up your family, period. It'll tear up your family, it'll tear up your bank account, it'll tear up everything. It's like a bomb. It blows everything away.